Hey everyone, this week we're going to be taking a look at Chapter 4 in your text, which deals with scatter plots and variation. And just as an example, here is a scatter plot, just so that you can see what it's going to look like. And we've got data. This is talking about the percent of graduates who take the SAT and the state average of SAT mathematics scores. So here is in Colorado, here is the fact that they had 14% of their graduates took the SAT and their average score was 581. You are going to notice a few things that I think are kind of striking over here. Look at the states that had 100% of their graduates take the SAT. They had really low scores. And states where very few people took the SAT, they took higher scores. And we'll talk a little bit about what you think that means. But jumping back over here, we're going to start out by talking about a few different variable types. So the types of variables that we have are going to be independent and dependent variables. And so independent and dependent variables, we're going to also see that they refer to these in our text very often as explanatory and explanatory, and what is the other word that we're going to use for it? Explanatory and response. All right, now I'm going to give you an example using something, using a little chart here of questions and points. So Q is going to be questions you got right on a test, the number of them, and P is going to be the points you scored, and this is going to really be the total points. And I'm going to just say that each question is worth 3 points each. So really simple chart here. If I score 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 questions right. If I score 0, that means I'm going to get 0 points. All right. If I score 1 point, I'm going to get 3 points. If I score 2 points, I'm going to get 6 points. Hopefully what you're noticing is that this variable here is the response. It's dependent. P depends on Q. When I'm taking the test, how many questions I get right, I suppose, depends on how much I studied or how much I know, and that might be debatable at times. But once I take this test here, this is going to be my independent variable, Q, and this is going to be my dependent variable. So explanatory variable, it tells me how many questions I got right, and response variable, which depends on how many questions I got right, tells me how many points I get. All right, really important for us to understand that, because we have an equation here that says the points that I get is going to be 3 times the number of questions that I got right. So here's a simple equation, P equals 3x. Again, it points out that we have a dependent variable and an independent variable. So dependent variable and independent variable. All right, that is just a really basic review of some algebra that we're taking a look at. So speaking of algebra, most of the time we see those things written like this: y equals 2x. I mean, we almost always in algebra use y as being the dependent variable and x as being the independent variable. One of the things you're going to remember as we take a look at things about correlations, we're going to want to remember it from algebra is part of this formula, y equals mx plus b. This was the formula for a linear equation. And what we need to remember about that is the m was really the slope of the equation. All right, we should remember things that if I have a positive slope, my equation goes up and to the right. If I have a negative slope, my equation is going down and to the right, and a slope of 0 means my equation is kind of flat. So that's going to be some of the basic things to remember, because we're going to apply those things to correlations as well. All right, so that's just a really quick review about independent and dependent variables. And just remember, when we're talking independent and dependent, we're talking explanatory and response. All right, so you might want to review a lot of the things that you did about with algebra. We'll kind of review a few of those things in here, but that's going to be the basis for writing or finding the correlation between these two variables.